Hello everyone, Alejandro Sanchez here with Apex Racing Academy. Today we are kicking things off with a track guide for week 8 of IMSA Racing Series, this time at Laguna Seca in the Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo. This season we are also giving away the Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo data pack for free. That includes both the qualifying and race setups, and for those weeks that also have endurance attached to them, we are also including the endurance setups. On top of that, we are also adding in the rain setups for those weeks that have a rain percentage. Now, let's break down the circuit. Laguna Seca is not really the first track that comes to mind when you think about tracks that should be raced in IMSA. In multi-class, it's quite a tight track, and it feels like these cars are like way too fast for this layout. But even then, it's a fun track to drive on. The Mercedes is probably not the best car around here because it has a problem with bottoming out, and yeah, this car has a lot of compressions and just very fast corners where it really struggles with understeer. And yeah, it's like 3 to 4 tenths of the fastest car this week, which should be the Porsche. But even then, I managed to make it sort of livable and not too bad to drive. I just made the springs like really stiff. But yeah, this kind of track is usually raced in slower classes, but that doesn't mean it's not fun to drive on. Just be careful with the multi-class, because yeah, you run quite a high risk of getting taken out by the LMPs, and yeah, there's not many places that you can go basically if anything goes wrong. So without further delay, let's get started. You can grab this season's Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo data pack for IMSA for free by clicking the link in the description below or by going over at apexracingac.com. Let's get into the lap. You really want to start the lap as close as possible to this inside wall, because that way you will lose less meters. And then just let the car track wide to the middle of the track and slowly, well, get a little bit closer to the left, but not too much. It's not like you really want to hit these inside bollards. And then, yeah, as soon as you clear this white line dividing the two white lines, this vertical white line dividing the two white lines on the pit exit, you want to start letting the car track wide all the way to the right side of the track, where you want to brake at the 4 marker. You want to put all 4 tires beyond the white line on the right as well, just like this. I usually just look at this white line that is painted like both on the gravel and on the concrete. And if you pay attention, the track is sort of like this on the right side, so we are taking advantage of that in order to help us have more grip essentially and have a wider approach for T1, which is kind of tricky. If you carry too much speed, the car either snaps or you just understeer off and you just lose a lot of time. So definitely gotta be careful with that. Drop it into second gear, quite a lot of trail braking. You can hear I'm also dropping the gears super late just so I don't upset the car at all. And just like that, hit the curve at the beginning as soon as the sausage curve disappears on the left, and turn off the brakes all the way up until this point. Let the car track to the middle of the track, and yeah, then on the exit just get as close as possible to this inside sausage curve without driving over it. Keep it in second. A lot of patience is required on throttle, because otherwise you will lose a lot of traction. And then let it track wide, go all the way to the right side of the track. Lean on these outside curves, don't drive over the gravel on the exit. back to the left side of the track where we are gonna brake at the 2 marker. It's like this, and yeah, just open up the line all the way over the curve here on the left. And turn off the brakes very deep into the corner, actually, up until this point. And then it's very important that you don't drive over this inside sausage curve. Keep it in third, as I say, just let it track wide on the exit as well. This is one of the places where you can sort of exploit the gravel on the exit, both on this corner and the corner after, because you can just put 2 tires and lean on the gravel in order to carry more exit speed. And yeah, you won't get an off track if you don't overdo it, but if you overdo it, you will get one, so careful with that. Once again, open up the line over the curve here and brake a little bit, then throw the car into the corner, pick up the throttle a little soon, and yeah, rotate the car with throttle basically, just as close as possible to this inside sausage curve. This one actually you can drive over it with just a tire width, not any more than that, because otherwise, yeah, you're just gonna understeer off. So careful with that. One of the easiest places in the track to get a 1x, and as I say, just lean on the outside gravel in order to carry more extra speed. Immediately back to the right side of the track, drive over this curve here on the right, brake as soon as this white line appears on the right, and yeah, hold the brakes to roughly around 75%. Repeat the third gear. Bit of a late apex as well on this one. Careful with the understeer, because if you go too far up too soon, the banking stops just basically being banked, and you just understeer off and get an off track and just bottom out, and it's super catastrophic. So be patient with the throttle. You really want to carry a lot of middle corner speed, but it's quite easy to overdo it. Once again, get as close as possible to this inside sausage curve without driving over it. Use the inside curve as well to help you rotate the car. And as I said, if you touch the gravel here on the right, you will get an off track, so be careful with that. You definitely want to use the outside curve, but if you do put 2 tires beyond the curve and into the gravel, you will get an off track. So it's not that consistent, the track limits around here, but that's nothing new really. Then the corner before the corkscrew, one of the corners that are hardest to hit around here, to be fair. You really need to be super brave and pick up the throttle really soon and trust that the car will rotate, because if you don't push, then the car will bottom out. So I just brake at the 2 marker and throw the car in as soon as I reach this white line going across the gravel on the right. Drop 1 gear, and also do it quite late, because the fourth gear is just too tall and it's just way out of the power band if you keep it in fourth. And pick up the throttle, as I said, really soon. Get as close as possible to this sausage curve without driving over it. And then let it track wide all the way to the right side of the track. Careful with the exit off track, but you definitely want to put 2 tires on the gravel, because that will mean you have carried more than enough corner speed, and you're going to hit quite a good sector through here. Then back to the left side of the track to the meters in approach to the corkscrew. For the corkscrew, we want to brake in as much of a straight line as possible, and we are also going to be mindful of the elevation change, because as soon as you go over the elevation change, the tires get unloaded and you just lose a lot of braking performance, basically, because the tires are not being pushed into the ground as hard. I usually look at this white line painted on the gravel on the right in order to start your brake. Hold it to around 50% brake pressure at the beginning, as I said, and as soon as the tires are loaded, you can smash on it a bit harder, just like that. My peak braking pressure roughly around 65%, and as I said, just in as much of a straight line as possible, open up the line up until the 2 marker here on the right, where you should be starting to turn in. Just like that, I turn to the right and then to the left. Yeah, what you should be aiming to do through here is just trail braking as deep into the corner as possible, and just put the 2 left side tires into this dip and the gravel in order to help the car rotate. Pick up the throttle before you actually hit the curve as well, in order to make the car strike less impactful. And then as you're going over this blind part of the track, you just want to put the wheel straight and 50% throttle. Well, a little bit over 50%, but you get the idea. You don't want to lose traction at any point, because otherwise you will just keep on losing traction all the way down the hill. And yeah, this is a part that is better underdriven than overdriven, to be fair. Just like that, you can put 2 wheels on the inside here, on the inside gravel, without getting an off track, and I recommend you do so. And full throttle down the hill, then open up the line. As soon as the curve appears, you need to start to turn in, just like that. Then keep it in the middle of the track. Start to brake really early. As you can see here, I don't really have a clear reference point, but you sort of get a feeling for it, because if you carry too much speed, then you're just gonna start bottoming out and understeering massively all the way through the corner, so be very mindful of that. just like this, keep it in third, very slight braking, like, I don't know, like 1-2% if anything. Then use the inside curve to help you rotate the car, get as close as possible to this inside sausage curve without touching it. And yeah, we are also getting super close to here because it's less bumpy on the inside curve, so it matters massively. Then on the exit, you want to make sure that you don't drive over this curve too hard, because if you do so, it's gonna understeer as soon as you touch it, because it's gonna scrape and you won't have enough room to go back to the left side of the track. Just like that, keep it in third, no need to upshift to fourth, and brake at the 2 marker here. Open up the line over the curve on the left. Trail off the brakes up until this point. Pick up the throttle a little bit before you actually reach the beginning of the curve here on the right, and get as close as possible to this inside sausage curve without touching it. Let the car track wide over the curve here on the left, and then for the last hairpin, we're also going to keep it in third before we actually start to brake. Brake at the 2 marker, drop it to second gear, and brake quite hard, brake around 80%. As I said, keep it in second, use the inside curve to help you rotate the car. We are trail braking really deep into the corner. As you can see here, we are reaching the apex and we are still on the brakes. And yeah, ideally you should be putting the left front into the sausage curve here, as I said, to help you rotate the car and help you put the power down in as much of a straight line as possible, because the corner is really tight. And then on the exit, just take advantage of the astroturf that is laid out between the curve and the gravel here on the right. Just get as close as possible to the gravel on the right, and start progressively moving back to the left side of the track, all the way to the start finish line. Don't forget to head over to apexracingac.com or by clicking the link in the description below. Also, don't forget to join the Discord server, where we are providing support for every car, not just the Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo, as well as the coaching sessions that we host on Wednesday evenings for IMSA, where a coach is gonna sit with you for anything between an hour and 2 hours. And yeah, you can just ask him voice chat whatever questions you have, and he can watch you drive in real time. So it's like a massive deal, because you basically get a coaching session for free. So yeah, take full advantage of that, and see you next one.